Okay, so today we're making butter, and the first thing I wanted to say is you want to start with raw milk, and you always want to make sure that you put your milk on a shelf where and it has to separate for a minimum of 48 hours from the time you get it from the creamery, and you want to put it on a shelf where you don't have to turn the jug to get it out, because you see how, I don't know if you can see on the video, right here on this line, this is where the cream has separated. So I'm going to take the milk jug out very carefully. Okay, so now that we have the milk out on the counter, we're going to go ahead and take this top piece off, and then we're going to just barely loosen it. Not all the way yet, so just barely break that seal. And we're going to take it, and we're going to hold it over a very large bowl, and I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of the jug. And well, before we do that, it's always smart to take a quick, little vinegar solution here. I just have homemade lemon peels and vinegar. And just go ahead and clean the outside of this jug, because you don't know who's touched it and where it has been set. And I pick it up from a lady, and you just never know what was in the bottom of her fridge. Okay, now that that's done, grab it and do a quick jab with a sharp knife. And a little twist, just break that hole. Switch hands here. Tried it. Now at this point you can kind of open the top a little bit more and let it vent. I'm going to get down inside the bowl a little bit. So, show them the bowl. You can see that milk, I don't know if you can tell the difference. See, there's some cream even sitting on top of this jug still. And it's a good workout. So we're just going to let this drain. We'll be back in just a second. Now, if you could get up close, I want you to see, this is actually the cream line right here. And it has separated a little bit. It's mixed in with the milk slightly, so it's not as harsh of a line as it was in the refrigerator. But you can definitely still see that cream right there. And see how the milk is slowed? So I'm just going to open that top all the way now. It's definitely, you can see the viscosity there of that liquid. And I can see the cream is about to here. So we're just going to give it a few more seconds. And we're going to have our blender jar. I'm going to do mine in the blender today. You can also do it with a hand mixer. You can do it in a KitchenAid mixer. And you can even do it in the old style paddle. There again is the cream right over there. Mine. But I'm going to do this in my blender. So I'm going to have that jug ready. I'm going to hold it up and just keep watching the color of that milk. And as soon as it changes, I'm going to pour it into the blender jar. Almost there. At this point, it just takes practice. Just keep watching. Okay, that looks like cream now. So pour it, watch, can you get close on the cream? So you can definitely tell the difference. See that thick, beautiful cream? We may have had some milk in there. If you noticed, it got a little thin at the end, but that will be just fine. And then just make sure to get all that cream out of the inside of the jug. There's definitely still, see that cream? Okay, that's good for now. Now, what I do is I just take my milk and I just pour it right into a glass jar, which is actually better to store in glass anyway. So, there's my fresh milk. And this milk is going to be probably closer to a 2 or a 1% milk, since you have taken all that fat out. There we go. Okay, all that yummy raw milk. Okay, so we'll save that, and that'll be for other things. Okay, now we're ready to stick this on. Pull it on tight. And then we're just going to turn it on, and I'm going to put it on probably on the Blendtec 3, just a nice kind of slow mix to start, and then I'll go ahead and turn it up. So if you want to zoom in on the numbers, and then you guys can see here in a second when I change it. So we'll just do 2 for now. Ahead and turn it up to 3 and let it go for another 1.5 minutes and see what it looks like. It's kind of like a, let me grab a spoon. It's getting thicker. It's starting to separate. We're going to turn it on again, 3, and keep it going. Good indication that it's getting close. You can tell now that it's really starting to separate. I'm seeing large pieces of the butter, and I'm seeing the white of the milk in the blender, and it's really starting to, I can hear the difference the sound is making. It's really starting to jump around in there. I think we're done. I'm going to let it go another 10 seconds. Okay, so that is done. Turn that off. Get a look here. This is what the butter looks like before we've separated it. This is perfect consistency. See right here? Look how beautiful. Little curdles of the milk. See how it's kind of sitting there on top, and you see that this is buttermilk now. So everything that's left down in there, you can see it's very clear. The bright yellow butter and the milk. So now we're going to take a bowl. I think I got too small of a bowl. Sometimes you get a lot more buttermilk than other times. It just depends on the milk and the batch. And last time I got maybe 3 tablespoons of buttermilk, and this time it looks like we got a lot more. So I'm going to put my strainer right. I just have a metal mesh strainer with some cheesecloth over it. You can even use a fine dish towel if you have one. So I'm just going to take this, pour it right into that cheesecloth. I'm going to let that buttermilk strain through to the bottom. The buttermilk also, sometimes it's very sour, like a buttermilk you would buy at the store, and sometimes it's very sweet. And the last one was very sweet. I actually just mixed it into the regular milk, or drank it like I would regular milk. Okay, I'm just going to continue. That's most of the buttermilk now. And we're just going to put the butter in here. Coming down there. Look how beautiful. Okay, we're going to get this all out. It is sticking to my spatula. This butter is going to be way more yellow than what you're used to in the grocery store. This is the real deal right here. Okay, so once you get all that out, just going to grab a spoon. And you can actually wash your butter. I don't. Basically, you would get to this point right here, and you can also Google it or YouTube it, but you would take it and you would put it back into your blender with water, cold ice water, and you would blend it, and then you would strain it again. Because see how I press, there's more buttermilk that comes out? Basically, washing your butter just ensures that you get a really sweet butter. You don't have any buttermilk left. And we eat this so quickly that it really doesn't matter. So that is pretty much it. We got a little bit more buttermilk when I pressed it through. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the cheesecloth and just make sure I get everything gathered. I'm going to give it a good squeeze and just make sure you don't press your butter through the cheesecloth, but it is almost, there you go. So that, to give you an idea, that's how much buttermilk we got from that batch. And then I just grab my little container. And you can also add salt to this. Once I get it in here, I will add some. But I usually wait till I get it in the container, and then I add some salt. And then I'll just, scrape off every little bit, and I'll finish that later. But yeah, so I'm going to take either some sea salt or some Himalayan salt, something of that sort. Not nasty old iodized table salt. Use the real thing. And I'm going to grind a couple grinds in there. Just mix it up. And there you have beautiful homemade butter.
I let it fall.